In a galaxy far away, there is a shining planet named Zerithia. The people of this planet were not human. They had silver skin, glowing eyes, and lived for hundreds of years. They were proud, royal, and cold-hearted. They believed only in perfection. One day, the queen of Zerithia gave birth to a baby girl. But something went wrong. The queen died during childbirth. The king, broken with grief, named the child Princess Lyra. No one had ever seen before. The royal priests came forward. They looked at the baby's eyes and whispered among themselves. Her aura is strange. One said, "She does not match the old blood," said another. The king was confused. "She is my daughter. She is royal." But then, the new queen stepped forward. She was tall, beautiful, and powerful. Her name was Queen Seraphine. She looked down at the baby with cold eyes. "She is flawed," Seraphine said with disgust. "Look at her. She is not one of us." The room went silent. No one dared to speak against the queen. "But she is still a child," the king said softly. "Flawed blood brings danger," Seraphine replied. "She must be removed. For the safety of Zerithia." The king looked at his baby one last time. His heart was torn, but he was weak, and Queen Seraphine was strong. That night, under the cover of darkness, Princess Lyra was placed inside a small silver pod. It looked like a shining egg. A royal guard set the pod into a space launcher. "Where will she go?" asked a younger guard. "Far," said the older one. "Somewhere silent. Somewhere forgotten." The pod was launched into the cold black of space. No one was supposed to know. No one was supposed to remember. Far away, on a blue and green planet called Earth. The night was calm. Trees whispered in the wind. Stars twinkled above. A young boy named Alex was walking alone in the forest. He was running from bullies again. His arms were scratched. His heart was heavy. He looked up at the stars. "Sometimes I wish I was somewhere else," he said softly. Suddenly, a light cut across the sky. A falling star. No, it was coming closer. Too close. Boom. The ground shook. Birds flew from the trees. Smoke rose from behind a hill. Alex ran toward the sound, heart pounding. He reached a small crater. In the center, something was glowing. A silver egg-shaped pod. Alex stepped closer. He touched the surface. It was warm. Then, with a soft hiss, the pod opened. Inside was a baby. A baby with silver-white skin and glowing purple eyes. The baby looked at Alex, and then she smiled. Alex stared. "You single quotes, not from here." The baby reached out and touched his cheek. In that moment, a small light mark appeared on Alex's hand. It was in the shape of a star. Alex didn't understand what was happening, but he felt something inside. A strange feeling, like this baby needed him. He looked around. No one else had seen the crash. No one knew she was here. He made a choice. "I'll protect you," he whispered, "no matter what." Alex took off his jacket, wrapped the baby gently, and walked back. Through the Trista Ward home. Back on Zerithia, Queen Seraphine stood in the royal tower. She looked out at the stars, her eyes like ice. "Flawed," she said again. "I will erase her completely. No trace, no return." But far away, on a quiet Earth night, under a small roof, the flawed princess slept peacefully safe in the arms of a human boy. And fate was already writing a story that would change the galaxy. Forever. Asterisk. It wasn't the crash that changed Alex's life. It was the moment she smiled at him. 10 years ago, Alex was just a scared boy hiding in the woods. That night, he found a glowing pod, and inside it a baby from the stars. Now, he was 17, but the memory of that night still lived fresh in his mind, like it happened yesterday. The baby from the pod. He named her Lyra, and he raised her. In secret, Alex lived in a small cabin at the edge of the forest with his grandfather. His parents had died when he was young. The old man didn't talk much, and Alex didn't tell him much either, especially not about the glowing-eyed girl. He hid in the shed behind the house. Over the years, Lyra grew fast. Her skin stayed pale like starlight. Her eyes still glowed in the dark. And when she was upset, strange things happened. Metal would bend. Lights would flicker. Birds would come closer. Animals would sit near her, calm and still. She was not human, that much was clear. But Alex never treated her like a monster. To him, she was his little sister, his secret, his only friend. Every day, Alex taught Lyra about Earth. How to read, how to speak, how to hide. They watched old cartoons together. They laughed over burned toast. He told her stories about superheroes and she believed them like fairy tales. But deep down, Lyra knew something was different. Every night, she had dreams. Not normal dreams. Strange dreams. A woman with silver eyes. A tall palace made of glass. Screams. Fire. And a voice calling her name. Double quotes Lyra. Come back. She would wake up with tears in her eyes, her body glowing faintly. One morning, Alex found her sitting outside, staring at the sky. "Did you dream again?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "There's a woman. She's angry. I think she wants me gone." Alex sat beside her. "It was just a dream." "No," Lyra whispered. "It's a memory." Later that day, Lyra was walking near the river when she saw a small bird fall from a tree. It wasn't moving. Its wing was broken. She picked it up carefully, holding it in her hands. Her eyes glowed. And then, the bird fluttered. Alive, it flew back into the trees like nothing had happened. Behind her, in the bushes, something moved. In the sky, a strange silver drone hovered. Watching silently, it had no markings. It made no sound, but it had recorded everything. And then it shot back into the clouds, far above Earth, in a hidden ship orbiting the planet. Something stirred. An ancient machine beeped. A signal was sent. Across light years, across galaxies. Straight to Zerith. In the royal court, Queen Seraphine sat on a throne of crystal. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with cold fire. A screen lit up before her. She saw a girl with glowing purple eyes bring a dead creature back to life. The queen rose to her feet, lips trembling with rage. "She's alive," she whispered. "The flawed one. Survived." A shadowy alien stepped forward. "What are your orders, my queen?" Seraphine clenched her fists. "Send the hunters. Find her, end her, and burn the planet if you must." Back on Earth, Lyra sat on the roof of the cabin, legs crossed, eyes closed. She whispered to the stars. She didn't know why. She just felt she had to. Alex stood below, watching her, worried. "I don't think we can hide much longer," he said to himself. Lyra looked down. "Then maybe it's time I stopped hiding." For the first time, her voice was calm, steady, sure. The child from the stars was changing, and far, far away. So was the galaxy. The first time Lyra heard the stars whisper, she wasn't asleep. It was 3:17 a.m. The forest was quiet. Even the wind had stopped moving. Lyra stood barefoot in the grass behind the cabin. Her eyes were open, glowing faintly in the dark. Her face was calm, but her body was floating. 2 inches above the ground. She didn't notice. She was listening to something far, far away. Alex woke with a jolt. A strange sound had entered his dream, a soft hum, like music underwater. He stepped outside and froze. Lyra was hovering, eyes locked on the sky, hands slightly raised. Blue light circled around her fingertips. "Lyra," he whispered, scared. She slowly lowered to the ground, blinking fast, like someone waking up. "I heard voices," she said quietly, but not like in a dream. It was real. From the sky. From them. Alex looked around. "We have to be careful. Someone might have seen that." "I think someone already did," Lyra replied. "And they're coming." The next morning, they walked into town for supplies. Alex kept his head down. Lyra wore sunglasses and a hoodie, but something was off. People stared a little longer than usual. A man with a camera phone paused. A dog growled at Lyra and then backed away, whimpering. Alex noticed the same black van parked near the gas station. "Twice. They're watching," Lyra whispered. Alex nodded. "We have to go, now." That night, they returned to the cabin, but it no longer felt safe. Lyra sat in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. For 10 years, she'd believed she was just different. Now, she knew better. She placed her hand on the glass. The mirror shimmered, like water. For 1 second, just one, she saw something. A throne, a woman in armor, a burning sky. She pulled her hand back, shaking. That's when the door slammed open. "Lyra, come quick." In the woods, Alex pointed at the sky. "Lights, not stars, ships, 3 small triangular crafts. Silent and fast, moving just above the treetops." Lyra felt her chest tighten. "It's them." Far above, in orbit, the Zerithian scout ship hovered like a shark in deep water. Inside, a tall alien bounty hunter watched the Earth below. He had no name, only a number, Unit 47. A cold voice came through his communicator. "Target is alive. Use minimal force. If she terminate." Unit 47 nodded once. He activated his tracker. Her signal was clear. Too clear. She wants me to find her, he muttered. Back on Earth, Alex and Lyra began packing to run again, but it was too late. A loud buzz shook the cabin. The door exploded inward. Unit 47 stepped through the tall, armored inhuman. Alex grabbed a metal pipe. Lyra stood in front of him. Don't hurt him, she said. Take me. Unit 47 raised his weapon. But before he could fire, Lyra raised her hand and screamed. The walls cracked. The ground shook. A wave of energy blasted out from her body, knocking the bounty hunter back through the trees. Birds flew in every direction. Trees bent like paper. When the light faded, Lyra collapsed. Alex ran to her. Lyra, wake up. She opened her eyes slowly. I didn't mean to, but I couldn't let him take you. Hours later, the bounty hunter limped back to his ship damaged, angry. She's stronger than expected, he reported. Seraphine's face appeared on the screen. Then send more. I want that flaw erased. Yes, my queen. Elsewhere, a man watched satellite footage in a dark room. He was a scientist, not military, not government, but he knew what he had just seen was not human. He paused the footage, zoomed in, a girl, eyes glowing, surrounded by light. His voice trembled with excitement. She's real. The Starborn key is real. Lyra sat in silence that night, staring at her marked hand. The glowing symbol was brighter now. I'm changing, she whispered. Alex sat beside her. You always were different. No, she said. I was asleep. Now I'm waking up. Asterisk, they didn't knock. They never do. Hunters don't ask questions. They track. They strike. At 2:46 a.m., the force behind Alex's cabin lit up like a silent explosion. No fire, just white light flashing between the trees. 3 black shapes dropped from the sky, hovering in the dark like insects with armor. No engines, no sound. Just silence. And death. Inside the cabin, Lyra sat upright in bed, heart racing. She didn't know how, but she felt them, like cold fingers crawling down her spine. Alex was already on his feet, grabbing his backpack, flashlight, and a small metal box they never opened unless it was time to run. It's them, isn't it? He asked. Lyra nodded. They found us. They escaped through the back, deep into the forest they once played in as kids. Now every tree felt like a trap, every shadow like an eye. Behind them, the cabin shook. One of the alien hunters raised his hand. A pulse of blue energy fired. Boom, and the cabin exploded in flames. Unit 47 stepped forward through the fire. His helmet scanned the woods. Life. Signs confirmed. Target is running. Orders remain. Capture or eliminate. For hours, Alex and Lyra moved through the thick trees. Their legs burned. Their lungs begged for air, but they couldn't stop. Lyra's powers flickered around her glowing fingertips. Whispers in the wind, pulsing light in her palms. I can't hold it back, she said. It's getting louder. What is? Alex asked. The stars, she said softly. They're talking to me. In a nearby bunker hidden deep under an old observatory, the scientist from before watched satellite footage again. He wasn't smiling this time. These aren't random meteors, he said to himself. They're drop pods. He turned to his assistant. Send the signal. We might not be alone anymore. And if she's real, Earth might be her last chance. By dawn, Alex and Lyra reached an abandoned railway tunnel. Alex set up an emergency fire. Lyra sat against the cold stone wall, her eyes tired. They'll never stop, she whispered. Alex looked at her. Then we don't run anymore. We fight. You're human, she said. Your family, he answered. Back in space. Queen Seraphine stared at a hologram. It showed Lyra floating, glowing, stopping one of the hunters mid-attack. She clenched her teeth. The floor has grown too strong. A shadowy figure beside her, older and wiser, leaned in. Maybe she isn't the flaw. Maybe she's the cure. Seraphine turned slowly. Then the galaxy must stay sick. Prepare the judgment fleet. The next night, Alex and Lyra reached an old signal tower in the woods. They needed to send a message. A warning. A request. Anything. Inside the broken control room, Lyra sat in front of the radio. Who are we calling? Alex asked. I don't know, she said, but someone's listening. I can feel it. She placed her glowing hand on the metal dial. The machine came to life. Far away, in a ship hidden behind Earth's moon, a coded message blinked across a forgotten console. The crew inside looked at each other. Confirmed signal. One of them said, It's her. Then it's time, said the captain. Let's bring the princess home. Meanwhile, Unit 47 tracked Lyra's last energy burst to the tunnel entrance. He placed a small device on the wall. It blinked green, then red, then exploded. The tunnel collapsed behind him. He stepped through the smoke with a cold voice. Nowhere left to run. Alex and Lyra turned. The hunter raised his arm, aimed directly at Alex. Lyra screamed. She didn't need to think. She didn't need to aim. She simply became light dot in a flash. She stood between them, hands glowing like suns. The hunter fired, but the beam stopped. Mid-air, frozen dot held in place dot by her. She clenched her fist sound. The energy shot backward, blasting the hunter into the tunnel wall. Everything went quiet. Alex, blink it. You stopped it. Lyra didn't answer. She looked at her hands, still glowing. I didn't even try. Far above, Queen Seraphine received the report. Her face didn't change, but her voice turned sharp. She is no longer a child, she said. She is becoming what I feared. The guards in the room stood silent. Seraphine whispered one final order, send me. The shot wasn't meant for him. But heroes never wait for permission. The alien hunter's weapon flashed blue. The beam was silent, but deadly dot. It tore through the air toward Lyra's heart. Alex didn't think. He moved. Faster than fear. Faster than thought. He pushed her aside and took the hit himself. The blast threw Alex backwards. He slammed into the tunnel wall. His body hit the ground, motionless. Alex. Lyra crawled to him, hands shaking. His chest wasn't rising. No sound, no breath. No life. No, please. She pressed her hands to his chest. Her fingers glowed. Nothing happened. Tears ran down her cheeks, glowing like starlight. Don't leave me, she whispered. Not you, not you. The hunter got back up. Armor cracked but functional. He aimed again. But Lyra didn't even look at him. She stood slowly. Silent. Her body lit up from within. Hair floating. Eyes glowing white. Hands burning with power. The air around her shimmered. And when she spoke, her voice was laid at hers. And something older. You will not touch him again. She raised her hands. The world screamed. The tunnel exploded outward. Stone and steel twisted like paper. Trees outside bent back from the force. Birds fled. Animals ran. The hunter was flung miles away, vanishing into the forest. And then, silence. Lyra fell to her knees beside Alex again. This time, she placed her glowing palm over his heart. She closed her eyes. Her lips moved, whispering words not of this world. Words she didn't know she knew. The light passed from her hand into his chest. Then gasp. Alex's eyes opened wide. He coughed, choked, then breathed. Alive. He looked at her. What happened? You died, Lyra said softly, crying and laughing at the same time. And then I broke the rules. Far above, on the hidden ship behind the moon, a commander watched the energy spike on his screen. This wasn't normal healing, he said. She used the core voice. Someone gasped behind him. But that means she's not just royalty, the commander said. She's the bloodline anchor, the last of the true line. Back on Zerithia, Queen Seraphine stepped into her war chamber. The room was full of generals and machines. She was no longer calm. She accessed the core. She said. An advisor stepped forward, nervous. If she awakened the core, then the planet may call to her now. Zerithia may recognize her. Seraph's voice was ice. Then I will destroy it before she ever returns. Meanwhile, Alex and Lyra reached the edge of a small human town. They couldn't go back to the forest. The cabin was gone. The hunter might return. But Lyra was changing. She felt stronger but also different. She stared at her reflection in a broken window. I don't look like me anymore. Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. You look like the one who saved me. They found shelter in an old train station. Abandoned. Quiet. While Alex rested, Lyra sat on the rooftop under the stars. She whispered to the sky. I need answers. And the stars responded. Not with words, but with memory. Suddenly she was somewhere else. She stood in a hall of glass. Stars above, a voice behind her. Princess, Lyra of the first light, it said. Your throne still waits. She turned. A figure stepped forward, tall. Golden eyes. Kind. You carried the last piece of the core. That is why she fears you. Who are you? Lyra asked. The figure smiled. I am what she tried to erase. Your true blood. Your real family. Lyra. Blinkton was back on the rooftop, breathing hard. Heart racing. And now. She knew one thing for sure. She wasn't broken. She wasn't flawed. She was built to return. Asterisk. When a queen leaves her throne, it means war. When she brings the throne with her, it means the galaxy must kneel. Above Earth, a new shadow formed, not a ship, a fortress, floating in orbit. Massive and silent, like a dead moon wearing a crown of blades. At its center stood Queen Seraphina draped, in black armor, eyes glowing with rage. She didn't speak. She simply pointed at Earth. Bring her to me, she whispered. Or burn everything that protects her. On Earth, storm clouds rolled in unnaturally fast. Lightning cracked across the sky, but there was no thunder. Alex and Lyra stood outside the old train station, watching the sky turn violet. She's here, Lyra said. Alex didn't ask how. She knew. He just grabbed her hand. What do? We don't run this time, she said. We remind her what she tried to destroy. Moments later, silver lights rained from the sky. Not meteors, dropships, hundreds of them. Alien soldiers stepped out in rows, all armored, silent, like machines built for one mission. Capture the princess, kill anyone in the way. But Lyra stepped forward. No armor, no weapons, just light gathering at her fingertips. She raised her voice. You serve a queen who lies. But I carry the core. I carry the truth. The soldiers hesitated. Some blinked. Some remembered. One by one. A few dropped to one knee. Inside the fortress above, Queen Seraphine's voice thundered through the air. Execute the traitors. Bring the girl. Now, a brutal battle began. Loyal soldiers rushed forward, weapons charged. The ones who remembered Lyra turned to protect her. Energy beams filled the air. Trees shattered, cars flipped. Roads cracked. Alex fought with whatever he could: metal rods, tools, even fire. He wasn't a soldier, but he refused to leave her side. In the chaos, Lyra met her enemy. The queen landed in a ship shaped like a claw. Stepping out in silence, Seraphine looked at her. Disgust, pride, fear, all mixed into one cold stare. You are not the future, she said. You are my mistake. Lyra stood tall. I am your ending. They clashed not with fists, but with energy. Seraphine's power was sharp, brutal, fast. Lyra's was raw, growing, alive. Each blast cracked the sky. Each wave of force bent the air. Buildings fell. Time slowed. The earth itself trembled. Alex was caught in the shockwaves, thrown backward into rubble. His leg twisted, blood on his face. Still, he crawled forward, watching. Refusing to look away. Lyra's power surged, but Seraphine was experienced. Cold, cruel. You will lose, the queen said. Because you feel. Because you care. Lyra smiled through blood. That's why I'll win. She closed her eyes. All at once, the light inside her exploded, not in anger, but in memory. She saw her mother's face, her father's voice. The real throne, the true crown, the galaxy before the lies. She wasn't just light, she was legacy. Her next wave of energy didn't strike Seraphine. It passed through her, like a truth too heavy to carry. The queen screamed, not in pain, but in fear, as her armor cracked, and her power began to fade. For the first time in years, Seraphine looked small. The soldiers still fighting stopped. They watched. Then one by one. They dropped their weapons. And knelt. Not to a tyrant, but to the girl she called flawed. Seraphine dropped to her knees, gasping. I tried to erase you. Lyra stood over her, breath steady. And I tried to understand you. She reached out a hand, not to strike, but to forgive. But the queen pulled back, too proud to accept mercy, too broken to change. She vanished in a flash of teleport, lighted, but not destroyed. The storm above cleared. The ships stopped. The soldiers returned to their ships, but they didn't take Lyra. They saluted her. She was no longer the secret child from the woods. She was their true heir, and Earth was her witness. The war ended without a sound. Not because the enemy surrendered, but because the galaxy paused, waiting for her answer. Smoke still rose from the broken city edge. The skies above were clear now, but the silence wasn't peaceful. It was waiting. All over Earth and far beyond is turned to one girl. The one once called flawed. The one who now stood on a hill, crownless, breathless, and holding the future in her hands. Lyra looked down at the wreckage. Ships still hovered above, waiting for her command. The soldiers who once hunted her now bowed. The stars whispered again, but not with fear or warning. This time, they asked a question. Will you come home? Alex sat beside her on a chunk of broken concrete, holding an ice pack to his ribs. You okay? He asked. She didn't answer right away. I could rebuild it, she finally said. All of Zerithia. The throne, the cities, even the laws. Alex looked at her carefully. Do you want to? Lyra looked at Earth's horizon. Children playing near burned cars. A dog sniffing a fallen helmet. A tree still standing, green and full. I don't know, she said. This world hurt me, but it also raised me. A small royal ship landed nearby. An older alien man stepped out. Wearing robes of silver dot, he bowed deeply. Princess Lyra, he said. The core responds to you. You are the rightful queen. People await your return. Lyra said nothing. Zerithia needs healing, the man continued. They will follow your light. But Earth never needed me, she replied. And still, it made room for me. Later that evening, a message from Zerithia appeared in the sky, broadcasted across planets, stations, and ships. A vote. The galaxy had seen enough war. They wanted a leader, and they wanted her. Alex watched. Lyra from the porch of a half-burned house. She had gone quiet again, sitting alone under the stars. He walked over. You're scared, he said gently. She looked up, not of ruling, of becoming her, of turning cold like Seraphine. Alex shook his head. You're not like her. She feared weakness. You grew because of it. He paused, then smiled. And also, you did something she never could. What's that? You loved someone who had nothing to offer you. The next day, Lyra stood in front of the royal ship. Soldiers saluted. Lights blinked. The engines were warm. But she turned around and faced the people of Earth, those who had helped her, feared her, hunted her, and loved her. I was marked as broken, she said, thrown away. But this world didn't throw me back. I don't want to rule with fear. I want to lead with memory. Of pain. Of kindness. Of change. She looked at the stars one last time. Then, she made her choice. Lyra stepped aboard the ship, not as a prisoner, not as a weapon, but as a bridge. Between worlds. Between what was and what could be. Alex watched her leave, his heart full, not broken, because he knew something others did, and single quotes. The message came weeks later. A new queen sat on the Zerithian throne. Her first law, flawed does not mean failed. Her second law, every voice matters, even the quietest one. And her first royal visit, not to a powerful system, not to a rich empire, but to a small, blue planet, called Earth. One morning, Alex opened his door, and there she was. No crown, no army. Just Lyra, smiling. I never forgot where I came from, she said, and he smiled back. You never had to. Because in the end, the galaxy didn't need a perfect ruler. It needed a flawed girl, raised by a human, taught by pain, chosen by stars. And loved, without conditions.